Now this trick is based on the genre of the devil and the magician. And the story goes that the devil came to see the magician and said, look, you've been fooling people for a long time now, he said, and I think it's about time we took you down to hell. And the magician said, well, if I could do something with a shuffled pack of cards, he said, would that make any difference? And the devil says, well, I do like a good trick. He said, if you could, for example, cut from a shuffled deck to 4 of a kind on the table, he says, I might sort of think, well, yeah, you can stay here and continue with your magic. So the magician said, well, you've just seen me shuffle a pack of cards. And the devil said, sorry, I want you to cut the cards, shuffle the cards, half face up and half face down. He said, a little bit like this. So the magician weaved the face up cards into the pack and then said, so now you want me to cut to 4 of a kind from this mixed up deck? And the devil said, yes. He said, well, look, I'll try. He says, well, look, he said, there I have, I've cut to the ace of spades, and he put it down on the table. He said, but it gets progressively more difficult, he said, because these are, as you know, a shuffle pack of cards in a most unusual way, but nevertheless, he cut to the ace of hearts. So the devil was not too worried, because basically, that's just 2 cards, and probably that's not too difficult. And the magician said, well, let's see. Yep, I can cut to the ace of clubs as well, which he did, and he put the ace of clubs on the table. He said, yeah, just one more. If I can do just one more, he said, I can resist this plan of the devil to take me to hell. And he cut and he said, and there is the final ace. And the devil said, well, I'm afraid not, my boy. He said, you've cut to a 7. He said, and we said 4 of a kind. And the magician said, well, yeah, that's true. He said, that's why I cut to 1, 2, 3, 4 7s. Well, the devil was really upset, as you can imagine. He thought he'd really got the magician this time, but he hadn't. He said to the magician, well, where are the aces? And the magician said, well, they're in the centre of the pack over here. Look, there are the 4 aces. And the dear old devil now was absolutely confused. He said, well, how did you do that? And the magician said, well, look, all of the cards are quite obviously marked. And the devil spent about half an hour looking at these cards and saying, well, I can't see where they're marked. And the magician said, well, it's obvious, isn't it? And the devil said, well, it's not obvious to me. He says, where's the marking? He says, well, they're all blue cards. He said, and the rest of the deck are all red cards. And that's how the magician beat the devil.